Hello everyone, I am Dr. Priyanka Sachdev and here I am launching a swift program of pharmacology on Stupire Matter. I am assuming that you already know the basics of the pharmacology. So I will compact the entire syllabus of pharmacology of 60-70 hours in 10 to 12 hours. So just watch the video without wasting time. I am just starting it. Okay, all the best. So here I am starting with the next chapter, that is anti-adrenergic drugs. So we have covered cholinergic, anticholinergic and adrenergic. Now covering the last chapter of this ANS, that is anti-adrenergic drugs. It's very easy. We will divide the chapter into two parts, alpha blockers and beta blockers. Of course, alpha blockers will block the activity of alpha action, will do the reverse of this column, and beta blockers will do the reverse of this column. So we will see. So first we are starting with alpha blockers. This is the classification of alpha blockers. Alpha blockers are of two types, non-equilibrium type and equilibrium type. In non-equilibrium only one drug is there, phenoxybenzamin. And in equilibrium type it is divided into three types, that is non-selective, alpha 1 selective, alpha 2 selective. Remember, alpha 2 selective is yohimbin. Many MCQs comes on it. And non-selective is phentolamine and ergots are there. Correct. These are non-selective. And alpha 1 selective are prazosin, trazocin, tirazosin, doxazosin, efluzocin and tamsulosin. So these all sins are alpha 1 selective. Alpha 2 is yohimbin. Never forget. So this is the classification of alpha blocker. Just give me a second. Okay, so coming on mechanism of action. How these drugs acts. So these drugs, what they will do? So normally noradrenaline was secreted. It was acting on alpha receptor and showing its action. What these drugs will do? These drugs will block alpha receptor. They have affinity, but they don't have intrinsic activity. So they will just block the alpha receptor so that noradrenaline cannot bind with alpha receptor. So whatever noradrenaline was doing at alpha receptor cannot happen. So reverse will happen. So it will do the opposite what noradrenaline was doing at alpha receptor. That is the mechanism of action. So can you see? These are the alpha receptors here. These are the alpha receptors. These are blocked by the alpha blockers. These are alpha blockers, so that noradrenaline secreted here, this is noradrenaline, cannot act because it is blocked there. It has no intrinsic activity. You know it. So we are done with classification, mechanism of action. Now coming on actions. So all the actions will be reversed. So we will do just reverse of it. We will do, because noradrenaline while combining with alpha receptors was doing this. But now noradrenaline cannot combine with alpha receptors because alpha receptors are blocked by the drug. So these things cannot happen. So reverse of this will happen passively. You know it. So we will take them one by one. Coming on blood vessel first. Just a second. Coming on blood vessel first. So what will happen on blood vessel? You only tell. Normally noradrenaline was causing vasoconstriction, but now noradrenaline cannot bind to alpha receptor. So vasoconstriction will not occur and vasodilatation will occur. So alpha blockers cause vasodilatation, that means fall in BP, that is hypotension. So these are causing vasodilatation. So these are used as an antihypertensive drug. They can be used, not commonly used because side effects are more. I will tell you with side effects, but it is not commonly used, but they can be used. Alpha blockers are antihypertensive because they decrease BP by causing vasodilatation. Because alpha was causing vasoconstriction, alpha blocker will cause vasodilatation. It's very simple, like mathematics. And we all also know, already studied in the last chapter, the action of adrenaline on blood pressure. If I am giving myself an injection of adrenaline, what will happen? First, the blood pressure DBP will rise due to alpha 1 action and then it will fall because of beta 2. And if I am giving a alpha blocker before adrenaline injection, then rise will not be there because alpha 1 was causing the rise. Only fall is there. That is known as vasomotor reversal of Dale. So since I am teaching alpha blocker, I have revised these things to you. Correct or not? Coming on the next organ is heart. On heart, alpha was absent. I have told you alpha receptors were absent. So alpha blocker, what they will do on heart, because alpha receptor is not there. So directly there is no action of alpha blocker on heart because alpha receptors are itself absent now. But because alpha blockers are causing vasodilatation, so there is reflex tachycardia, not direct, but indirect tachycardia is there because of vasodilatation caused by alpha blocker. So that is on heart. Coming on lungs, no action on lungs because alpha receptors are present. Coming on next organ, eyes. So next organ is eye. So alpha receptors, noradrenaline at alpha receptors was causing mydriasis. Now noradrenaline cannot bind with alpha receptor because these drugs are blocking the alpha receptors. So mydriasis cannot be produced. So meiosis will be produced. So in eye there is meiosis. GIT and bladder. What alpha receptor was doing, noradrenaline was doing normally at alpha receptor. In GIT it is causing constipation and in bladder it is causing urinary retention. So alpha blocker will do the opposite. So alpha blocker will cause loose motion, that is constriction of the muscle and relaxation of the sphincter. And in bladder also it causes urine flow. So it is useful in BPH. It causes constriction of the retrocell muscle and relaxation of the sphincter, just opposite of alpha agonist. So that is GIT and bladder. On uterus there is no main action on all these organs. Coming directly on male sex organ. In male sex organ, alpha receptor, alpha agonist, noradrenaline was doing ejaculation. They will inhibit the ejaculation. These are alpha blockers. So they will inhibit the ejaculation. So male will become impotent. So that's why these are not used commonly as an antihypertensive drug. I have told you, they can be used as antihypertensive drug but not commonly used. Now if a young male is there, married male is there and he is hypertensive, middle-aged male is there, and if you are giving alpha blocker as an antihypertensive, male will become impotent. Now no male will be glad to become impotent to treat the hypertension. Now better drugs are available for treating hypertension. So alpha blocker not commonly used in males because it causes impotency, because it inhibits ejaculation path. Correct or not? So that is the thing. And sodium water retention is there. Okay. It has no effect on heart. Direct effect nahi hai. Indirect reflex tachycardia is there. No direct effect on lung. On lung, no direct effect on liver. Metabolism, insulin, glucagon. So no direct effect. Alpha blockers we are learning. So we are done with actions. Uses, contraindication in the same way we will mark. Now the uses there will become contraindication here and contraindications there will become uses here. Alpha agonist and alpha blocker. So uses of alpha blocker. So based on the first thing, what it is doing to the blood vessel. In the blood vessel, it is causing in the blood vessel, alpha receptor was causing vasoconstriction, it is causing vasodilatation. So based on this vasodilatation property, it has 8 uses. Based on this vasodilatation property, listen carefully, alpha blocker is used in 8 places. I will tell you 8 places. And the next uses, one more use is there apart from it. One more use, it is in bladder. It is in bladder in BPH. So only 2 uses are there. Uses of alpha blocker. One use is based on vasodilatation, 8 uses. And one use is based on detrusor muscle in the bladder. So total 9 uses are there. Based on vasodilatation, there are 8 uses. I will enumerate them one by one. The first most common use is hypertension. If a person, old aged male is with hypertension, I can give alpha blocker. He will become impotent, but it's okay. It is not maybe the priority. So I can give if other options are not available as an antihypertensive drug. You know what is pheochromocytoma? There is a gland known as adrenal gland which is present just above the kidney. The tumor of the medulla, it has 2 parts, cortex and medulla. The tumor of the medulla is known as pheochromocytoma. So in this tumor, abundant of catecholamine is released in blood. Medulla forms adrenaline or adrenaline. So blood contains abundant of catecholamines. So patient presents with hypertension. So you want to relieve the hypertension, give alpha blocker. So alpha blocker can be given in pheochromocytoma. Alpha as well as beta, both blockers are given. Correct or not? In pheochromocytoma, in shock, in secondary shock for causing vasodilatation. In peripheral vascular disease. What is peripheral vascular disease? The arteries and the veins are inflamed. These are inflamed. So these are inflamed, we want to dilate them and treat them. So in peripheral vascular disease, as a vasodilatation, these are used. In congestive heart failure, it will decrease the preload. It will dilate the veins and decrease the preload as well as afterload. In Prinzmental angina, what is Prinzmental angina? Prinzmental angina is coronary artery constriction. Can you see? This is the coronary artery. So constriction of the coronary artery, severe pain in the chest. So it will dilate the coronary artery based on vasodilator action, that is Prinzmental angina. Now next use, total 8 uses are there based on vasodilatation property. Next use is male impotency. Now what do you mean by this? Male impotency due to not ejection, it is due to erection. Erection male impotency. So this is the penis of the male. During erection, the sinusoids or the blood vessels present inside the penis got dilated. So these are the blood vessels present inside the penis, they get dilated, then erection occurs. Normally erection occurs due to dilatation. Now there are some males which have erection problem, erection dysfunction, erection problem. So these veins cannot dilate, so erection cannot occur during sexual intercourse, erection cannot occur. So if we want to treat it, we want to dilate the veins, so we have to give some vasodilator. So we will give alpha blocker. What alpha blocker is doing? It is doing dilatation of the blood vessels. So erection problem can be solved. It will cause dilatation of these blood vessels in the penis and erection will occur. But that is a separate issue. You will solve erection, but ejaculation impotency will be there by giving alpha blocker. So erection will be there, but ejaculation will not be there because alpha blocker blocks ejaculation. Yes or no? So on one hand you are treating erection, on other hand you are inhibiting ejaculation. This can happen. But yeah, only for erection dysfunction it can be theoretically used because of vasodilator property, but not commonly used. So you can see this is the penis and this is the blood vessel inside the penis. You can see for causing the dilatation of the blood vessel, for causing erection, these drugs can be used. Not in oral form, we can give directly injection of alpha blockers inside the penis blood vessels. So this, and last is Cheese reaction, clonidine withdrawal and Cheese reaction. It causes severe hypertension. So vasodilatation will relieve the severe hypertension in Cheese reaction. So we are done with 8 uses based on vasodilatory action. So can you enumerate? Last, ninth is also seen. Ninth is seen in BPH. You know what is BPH now? So in males there is a gland known as prostate gland. So this is the detrusor muscle, this is the urethra, and you can see there is a gland. This gland is prostate. Sometimes it becomes enlarged and it compresses the urethra. So there is a problem with urinary flow. What alpha blocker will do? Alpha blocker will cause constriction of the muscle and dilatation of the sphincter. So it will help the patient with BPH to pass urine. So alpha blocker are very useful there. Alpha blockers are useful there. So let me enumerate the uses. What are the 9 uses? Just a second. Give me 1 second. So what are the 9 uses? So these are the total 9 uses. The 8 uses are based on this property and the 9th one is BPH. So 8 uses are based on vasodilatory property. You know what are the 8 uses. I am not enumerating again. And 9th use is based on BPH. So total 9 uses of alpha blocker. Coming on adverse effects and contraindication. So there are few adverse effects. We will see one by one. Sometimes postural hypotension can occur. You know what is postural hypotension? We are giving it as a antihypertensive drug. So whenever patient stands after lying down, suddenly stands, so patient will develop hypotension due to vasodilatation of the veins of the leg. That is postural hypotension. Nasal blockage can be there. You know what is nasal blockage? So this is the nose. I have explained you now. This is the nose. This is the nasal septum. These are the blood vessels inside the nose. So these drugs, alpha blockers we are talking about. These alpha blockers causes vasodilatation. So if these blood vessels get dilated, nasal blockage will be there na. So if you are using alpha blocker for any disease, patient may complain of nasal blockage. Nose is always closed, it is blocked, it is congested. Palpitation can be there due to reflex hypotension, due to reflex tachycardia, due to severe hypotension. Loose motions can be there. We have seen in intestine it causes loose motion. Ejaculation impotency can be there. So ejaculation impotency. With blue I have marked the adverse effect. So we are done with the first chapter, alpha blocker. Now I'm coming on the last chapter, beta blocker. So beta blocker, this is the classification of beta blocker. These are non-selective, which will block beta 1, beta 2 also, and there are cardio-selective, which will block only beta 1. So beta 1 present only on heart and kidney. Beta 2 is present rest everywhere. So non-selective are these drugs: propranolol, salbutamol, timolol, pindolol, labetalol, carvedilol. And selective, you have to learn these beta 1 selective, very, very, very important: metoprolol, atenolol, acebutolol, bisoprolol, esmolol, betoxolol, celiprolol, and nebivolol. So you have to learn these drugs. So that was the classification of beta blockers. You know the mechanism of action. You know, normally noradrenaline was secreted here from the axon and it binds with beta receptor and showing its action. But now this drug beta blocker is coming, and beta blocker is binding with beta receptor. It has affinity but it doesn't have intrinsic activity. So it is binding with the beta receptor but does not show any action. But now noradrenaline cannot bind because it is already blocked with beta blocker. So the actions shown by noradrenaline on beta blocker is not showing. So reverse will happen. Passively reverse will happen. So that is the mechanism of action of beta blocker. So reverse of all these things will occur because noradrenaline normally binding with beta receptor was showing all these actions. But now noradrenaline is unable to bind with beta receptor because it is already blocked by beta blocker. So noradrenaline cannot bind here. So reverse will happen. So what reverse will happen? We will see one by one. Now who will tell me what happens to BP while giving beta blocker? Listen to my question. First have a thought on it, then I will tell you the answer. What happened to blood pressure? Look at the blood vessel thing. What happened to blood pressure when I give beta blocker? Blood pressure will increase or decrease? We all know beta blocker is an antihypertensive. Alpha blocker also, beta blocker also. Both are used as antihypertensive drug. But can you see here? Normally beta agonist was causing vasodilatation. It is causing vasodilatation now, beta agonist. So beta blocker should do vasoconstriction. But if it do vasoconstriction, BP should rise. But I am saying BP will fall. It is an antihypertensive drug. How it happens? Is this a magic? How it is happening? You are understanding my question or not? What I am asking? What I am asking, you are understanding or not? Listen once again. This is the chart showing beta agonist. Correct or not? So beta agonist causes vasodilatation. So beta blocker will cause vasoconstriction. It will do the opposite. So vasoconstriction means rise in BP. So that means beta blocker causes rise in BP. But we know beta blockers causes fall in BP. So the first thing I have written, I know they causes vasoconstriction, still they causes fall in BP. They do not cause rise in BP. They cause vasoconstriction, but they didn't cause rise in BP. They cause fall in BP by some other mechanism. So what is the other mechanism? The other mechanism is marked here and here. There are two more mechanisms. On heart, what they are doing? Beta agonist is increasing the rate, force and velocity. So beta blocker will decrease the rate, force and velocity. So the formula of blood pressure is cardiac output into peripheral resistance. I know peripheral resistance is increasing, but cardiac output is decreasing. Now cardiac output, they are decreasing. They are negative chrono, negative dromo, negative ino. So cardiac output is decreasing. Peripheral resistance is increasing because of vasoconstriction. Cardiac output is decreasing. So ultimately BP will drop. One thing is increasing, one is decreasing. Now this is very interesting. And other reason, beta receptor, beta agonist causes renin release from the kidney. They will block this. They will inhibit renin release. What renin was doing? Renin was doing sodium water retention, and they inhibit sodium water retention. So they will decrease BP. So ultimately they decrease BP. Coming on the next, on heart, they decrease force, rate and contraction. Because beta agonist was increasing rate, force and contraction, they will do the opposite. Correct or not? So they are useful in MI, useful in arrhythmia, useful in angina, useful in aneurysm, because they are decreasing the rate also, force also, velocity also. So they are useful in all these conditions. Say yes or no. Coming on the respiratory tract, what beta agonist was doing? It was causing vasodilatation. So they will bronchodilation. They will do the opposite. They will cause bronchoconstriction. So they will cause bronchoconstriction. They are contraindicated in asthma. Don't give beta blocker to any patient of asthma. Attack will be precipitated. Correct or not? So they cause bronchoconstriction. They are contraindicated in patients with asthma. So coming on the next, eye. In the eye, IOT is lowered. So these are also useful in glaucoma. That is beta blocker. In eye. In skeletal muscle, beta agonist, beta 1 receptor was causing tremors. They inhibit the tremors. So if you have anxiety before your exam, take a tablet of propranolol. Your tremors will be subsided. So you can take a tablet of beta blocker so that your tablets and anxiety will be subsided. Next is metabolic. What beta agonist was doing? Beta agonist was increasing glucose, increasing lactic acid, increasing free fatty acid. That is, it is catabolic. It will do the opposite. It will decrease glucose, it will decrease lactic acid, it will decrease free fatty acid. It will cause hypoglycemia. It will cause decrease lipolysis. It will decrease free fatty acid. That is, it is anabolic. So it is anabolic hormone. Correct or not? It inhibits gluconeogenesis. It is an anabolic. It will do the opposite. Coming on CNS. It suppresses anxiety. I have told you. It suppresses anxiety. So these are the actions. Coming on uses. We will mark the uses in this only. So can I use it as an antihypertensive drug? Yes, I can use. Not based on this action, but based on this and this action. That is, it decreases cardiac output and it decreases renin. It decreases cardiac output and it decreases renin. Renin means sodium potassium retention is not there. So by both these mechanisms, it decreases BP. Although it causes vasoconstriction, but it decreases BP. So the first use is hypertension. Second use is migraine. You know why migraine headache occurs? It is very common. Most of the people, even I have migraine sometimes. So why migraine happens? So this is the brain. Inside the brain, there are blood vessels. When these blood vessels dilate too much, they become dilate and pulsatile dilatation is there. So then the headache starts. So headache occurs due to vasodilatation of the blood vessels in the brain parenchyma. So any drug which causes vasoconstriction will relieve the headache, and beta blockers cause vasoconstriction. So beta blockers can be used for prophylaxis, not for acute attack, for prophylaxis. It can be used for prophylaxis of migraine. That is migraine. So the third use is based on heart. They decreases rate, they decreases force, they decreases velocity. Since they decreases rate, force, velocity, they are useful in angina, arrhythmia, aortic dissection, CHF, pheochromocytoma. They are useful in all. We know it. So that was the next use. Next use is glaucoma because they decreased IOT. Next use is tremors. In tremors, they decrease the anxiety. So these are the uses. So all the uses are in front of you. The first use is migraine based on vasoconstriction. The second use is hypertension. In hypertension, they will decrease renin. The third use is CHF, arrhythmia, MI, angina, aneurysm. So based on decreased rate, force and heart velocity. Next is glaucoma based on decreased IOT. Next is they decrease tremors, anxiety. Yes or no? So these are the uses. Now coming on adverse effects. Mark the adverse effects with a separate color. They causes vasoconstriction. Again and again I am telling you what they are causing. They are causing vasoconstriction of the blood vessel. So if I am taking a tablet of beta blocker, all the blood vessels in my body will undergo vasoconstriction. So my hands and feet will be cold. There is worsening of peripheral vascular disease. Correct or not? So hand and feet will be cold. So based on vasoconstriction, there are some side effects. Second is bradycardia because they are decreasing rate, decreasing force and decreasing velocity. So they can cause severe bradycardia sometimes. So those who have less heart rate already, don't give beta blocker to them. If you are giving in partial heart block, patient can convert into complete heart block. So don't give beta blocker to any patient with partial heart block. You know the reason. Don't give beta blocker to any patient with asthma because they causes bronchoconstriction. They will exaggerate the attack. Yes or no? Don't give beta blocker to any patient with diabetes because they are anabolic. They are anabolic. So don't give it. So these are the side effects. There is a mnemonic for side effects A, B, C, D. Don't give beta blocker to any patient of asthma. A for asthma, B for AV block, C for CHF, and D for diabetes. You know the reason for all of them. So we are done with beta blockers also. So we are done with alpha blockers, and we are done with beta blockers. We have covered the entire CVS. In the end, I would like to show you the summary of CVS. So this is a special summary of CVS I am sharing with you. Listen, we have studied 4 chapters. So this is the first chapter, cholinergic or anticholinesterase drugs. The uses are marked with red and the side effects are marked with blue. So there were 9 uses and 4 or 5 side effects. You know, so I am not enumerating it. I wish I could have time and I should revise it, but I am not having. The second chapter was anticholinergic. So you can see here, there are 7 uses and 2 side effects, red and blue. So you can enumerate. The third is adrenergic, that is alpha and beta agonist. So these are the uses and side effects in front of you. Then anti-adrenergic. In anti-adrenergic, we have done 2 chapters, alpha blocker, beta blocker. So this is alpha blocker based on vasoconstriction, vasodilatation. 8 uses were there, and second was BPH, only 2 uses, and side effects are there in front of you. And based on beta blocker, these are the uses and side effects. So this chapter is done.